There you go. All right, guys. So we got any clips today? One of our pre-configured builds. Pretty good mid-tier gaming computer that we have here. For CPU, it does come with a Ryzen 7 9700X. For storage, it's a 1 TB NVMe. And then for RAM, we got a DDR5. I believe it's 32 gigabytes. Yep, it is 32 gigabytes. We got DDR5 RAM, 32 gigabytes here. And then for GPU, we do got a 5070 GeForce RTX. All right, let's go ahead and get started with the motherboard here. Get the CPU, RAM, and NVMe in. All right. And for the motherboard, we are using the X870 AMD Gaming Wi-Fi by Asus. Hey man, where I'm from, GPU prices are high, but got a good deal. Should I go with the RTX 3080? Um, I would just say go with preference. If you want to go with the video, go with 3080. You want to go with AMD, go to 3090 XT. You got me asking how much are you gonna? What's a deal for those GPUs? Yeah, prices here are also pretty high for GPUs as well. For NVMe, 2 TB. There you go. Screw it back in. We got our RAM here. Kingston Fury Beast RGB RAM. 32 gigabytes, 6,000 megahertz. And just like that, we got the motherboard ready to go ahead and put it in the case here. We'll go ahead and move this to the side here. Get our case here. Put it like this so you guys can see when I put in the motherboard in the case. All right. In. Let me do a standing up just because it's locking mechanism. It's more popped out. There you go. Go ahead and screw it in. Go ahead and get our screws here. Which I provided already with screws for the motherboard. Dump them in our little tray there. All right. Why doesn't my cooler gift work? I plugged it in the cable. What cooler do you have? Lee cooler. And you're using the L Connect app to change the GIF. Yeah, the L Connect app says my cable ain't plugged in. It worked, but can't control the GIF. Try and check the connections, like of the if there's like a controller or something. Make sure the USB 2.0 cable is connected to the motherboard. Oh, so it won't send like the motherboard won't send the information to the cooler. All right, we got the motherboard in. Now we go ahead and get started with the fan. But it is taking a 240 Veritech AIO. So that's gonna go in the top here. There's gonna be 2 fans on top, 3 fans in the front, and 1 fan in the back here. Let's go ahead and get started with the 3 fans in the front here. Just get that done. And we're gonna do the back fan here, and we'll do the AIO last. And get our 3 fans here. Perfect. All right. I think that the USB 2.0 cable is the issue because when I installed the new motherboard, it wouldn't connect to the internet unless I used a old USB internet connection. Yeah, it could be the connection to the motherboard. What fans did you get? And then which one are you switching? Which one are you taking out? All right, we're gonna do the second fan. Put it in here in the front. All right, our last fan here for the front. All right, there's our 3 fans in the front. And let me just go ahead and route these cables here to the back. There we go, just like that. Go ahead and put this back fan here. And we can get started on the AIO after. All right. Thank you for the rose. All right, we got this back pending as well. We're getting started with the AIO next. Move this to the side here. Get our AIO. Get our bracket screws here. All right, everything that we need from here. Two more fans here. All right. Measuring how we're gonna go. Perfect. Go ahead and get our screws for AIO here. Tighten them first. Last fan here. All right, now we're gonna screw them in with our power tool. All right, so we'll get ahead ready for screw it in here. Top panel. All the way to the top here. Go ahead and screw it in. then one more. All right. Let me put this top back panel in again. There we go. Now we get our bracket here. This is route these cables of these fans into the back just so they're not in our way. There we go. Get this one as well. There we go. Now let's go ahead and put our bracket on our actual pump here. Go ahead and put it onto the motherboard. Then put our little stand-ups on. All right, one more standoff here. That's all four actually. 3, 4. Yep. Go ahead and put a little brackets on to the pump. Perfect. One last one. All right, got the brackets in. I was gonna get loose of these cables here for our RGB and then our fan CPU. Really easy. Goes on the stand out there. It has pre-applied thermal paste, so no need to put any other thermal paste. But the pressure will go ahead and spread out onto the CPU here. All right. One more to go. All right. There we go. Now we connect our CPU to the motherboard here. Like that. Then we route the RGB one to the back over here. With also our CPU cable. Just so it's nice and tight in the front. There you go. Zip tie that. Let's say nice and straight in the front. I give the Ryzen 7 6600. It's like a CPU. Got to pair with the right GPU. All right. Go ahead and do the cable management for these front panel cables here. We got our USB 2.0, F panel, audio. All right. Connect our USB 2.0. The front here, perfect. USB Type C. There you go. That's it for the front panel connectors. Go ahead and do a little bit of cable management here. There we go. Just cut that off. Little zip ties. All right. Let me go ahead and get started on our fan cable management. This is going to take a little bit longer just because it's a whole bunch of fans. But it shouldn't be anything too crazy. All right, so we gotta. I say we do kill match this part two as well. All right. Go ahead and do the kill magic for fans now. We got our fan splitter here. Bottom here. And make our first fan here. Gonna be this one. Second fan here. Third fan. All right. Now we have to connect the RGB. Actually, we got one more fan that we need to connect here. All right, we got this one here. This one here. So Ryzen 7 6600 with the 7700 GPU. How good of a performance do I have? I haven't had like any like real benchmarks with it, so I wouldn't be able to tell you, but it looks like it's a mid tier, so you could probably run um games at 1080p, probably some games at 1440p. I don't know about 4K. I'm not 100% sure. I don't want to give you any false information about that. But it is a mid tier specs there. All right, then we connect our RGB. So we go ahead and connect the RGB to our fans here. All right. Let's go ahead and get started with the first one. It's probably like a 7.5. You could always upgrade in the future. That's a good thing. All right, let's go ahead and start the kill Magi now. DDR5, correct? DDR5 32 gigabytes. Yeah, yeah, that's a good thing. You have DDR5, so you could always upgrade. So that's why I would give it a little bit higher score. Just because you always upgrade the CPU, and you're not stuck there. You can always upgrade to the better CPUs. Yeah, it's a mid-tier build. Should I get a B650A or a B850A? I would say get a B850 just because it's newer. Yeah, 220. Yeah, that's why. Yeah, I mean that's all you pretty much need. 144 hertz is perfectly fine. It's like casual gaming. You're not doing any like real competitive stuff. Perfectly fine. Even then, you could probably still overclock that CPU a little bit more. Get a little bit more power out of it as well, if you really wanted to. The only thing that would be different, is like a B650 and a B850, I believe. Let me just double check it for. Yeah, yeah. I just want to double check that. So this B650, keep in mind, the B650 is for older Gen CPUs. So it would have to be like AM4 CPU. The B850, you would have to get a AM5 CPU. So I would just go with the B850 just because Even though you get like a lower end AM5 CPU, doesn't have to be like the best of the best CPU. You could always upgrade in the future um to like a way better AMD CPU just because you have AM5. You don't have to get the you don't have to get the best AM5 CPU in the beginning. But if you're trying to stick with that AM4 platform, gives not saying AM4 they have great CPUs as well. But later on in the future you want to get a better CPU like the newer CPU that comes out, you won't be able to just because you are limited on that AM4 platform with the B650. The B650As are AM5 also? Really? Let's see. Is it that's why they have like the letter like A next to it? Oh, okay. Okay, so yeah, the only big difference would be like if you wanted to get like a newer gen CPU, all you have to do is probably use your older CPU, or you would have to flash the BIOS most likely to be able to run the newer CPUs on the B650. If like let's say you install like a newer gen like a newer CPU, it's still being AM5, if you install newer like a newer CPU and it doesn't boot up with the B650, most likely you do need like a BIOS update. That's pretty much it. But it'll run it. $7500F. Is that the one with integrated graphics? I believe so, correct? Trying to get these cables nice scale matched here. Mm-mm. All right, just finish up the kill management here. Almost finished here. Probably switching in like 5 years. Yeah, that's not too bad. Yes, I would just say go with like a little bit newer motherboard. Because if you're thinking of switching, typically people switch like after like a couple of years like that as well. So hopefully AMD doesn't come out with any new like actual like socket platform, which I don't think they would. They're not like Intel that switches their socket almost every time they release a new CPU. I just cut these up really quick just so they're out of my way. All right. Gotta finish up with these here. All right. Looking like we're almost done here. The kill management, like I said, it does take a little bit longer. It probably takes like the longest in the whole building process is the cable management. One more zip tie and we're done. The more zip ties, the better. Because everything stays intact. All right. All the fans are in. Now we go ahead and start with our GPU and then put our power supply in. We should be done with this build. Quick and easy build here. Got our RTX 5070 here. All right. A little classics here. The GPU. Two slot cards. Go ahead and remove two slots here. Perfect. There we go. Screw it back into the case. Yeah, there you go. Now we get started on the power supply here. Got our 750 watt by MSI. All right. I just need, I believe it's one CPU. Let me just double check. Two CPU actually for this motherboard. Two CPU, one 24 pin, one 12 volt high power. Got 24 pin there. Got one CPU. We don't need no SATA. And then our last CPU right here. Go ahead and plug all that in. Put our extra cable in our bag here. Perfect. CPU. CPU. 24 pin. There we go. 12 high power. And that's it. All we need now is our screws for our power supply here. Oh, I didn't provide the screws for the power supply. The case here. Perfectly fine. Leave the power supply came with any. Yep, I did. All right. So the case doesn't come with any power supply screws. The power supply for sure would come with power supply screws. All right. There goes our screws. Set one up just so when we put in our power supply here. This one. There goes two. This kit actually has two of its own screws. Put two screws on the side here. Perfect. Go ahead and route our two GPUs here. One CPU is there. There you go. 2 CPUs in. .24 pin. And GPU. There we go. Now we just gonna finish up the kill management here for Power 5 is pretty easy. Corsair pretty much already does it for you. You have to put the cables in the right place and then put the straps. All right. There we go. Now let's go ahead and plug it in. We're done with the build pretty much. Power supply is in, motherboard's in. Everything's all kill managed. Now let's go ahead, plug it in, turn it on. See it, make sure everything's plugged in correctly. Make sure all the RGB turns on correctly as well. Go ahead and plug in power cable here. Turn the switch on. Press power button. Looks like we got one fan on working on the top right here. Perfect how we kill magics. I could easily route to it. And it's right here. Easy find. Easy fix. There you go. All the fans should all be spinning now. Yep, perfect. Hope you guys enjoyed this stream. Again, this is our Eclipse that we do have up on our website, the pre-configured build. Pre-configured build. Just to go over the specs one more time, just so you guys know what is in the Eclipse build that we have here. We have, of course, the case of the Corsair Frame 4000D in black. Our processor, we do have an AMD Ryzen 7 9700X, For CPU cooler, we are using the Realtek Castle 240EX coolers. Realtek. For motherboard, we are using X870 motherboard. For RAM, we got 32 gigabytes of DDR5 6000 megahertz. For storage, 2 terabyte NVMe, graphics card of 5070. Power supply, we got an MSI 750 watt 3.0 power supply. And then for our case fans here, we got 6 Realtek RGB fans. And yeah, really nice build, really good mid-tier build. If you guys are looking for a mid-tier build. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the stream. We're gonna go ahead and end the stream here. We should be streaming again on Friday. A different build. Hope you guys see you guys there. Make sure to like, subscribe. You guys enjoy the stream. But yeah, have a great rest of your day.